Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 3, Episode 51, 2021 Drone Preview. Hope everyone is doing well this evening. I will be joined a little later by Mr. Ron Brown. Marcus Crawford's unavailable tonight. And we're going to kind of give you a preview of what we think is probably going to happen in 2021. We can only surmise at this point. So, I mean, it is what it is, as they say. Let's see who all is here tonight. I'm going to pop out the chat if my screen cooperates. All right, there we go. Ray Kelly's here. John Olson. Ted Bowman. Welcome, Ted. ABQ Quadcopter. Drone Shots. Jim O. Bill Thomas. Welcome, Bill. Good to see you. Matt Cundiff. Michael Wright. Stephen Ewing, welcome. Glad to see you're here. Greg Pittman as well, too. Johnny Drone Flyer. Johnny, welcome. Nick's High Tech, welcome. So, yeah, this is where we're at. We've had a cold snap here in Florida, okay? Yeah, it was like 48 last night, and I'm wearing jeans. This is the first time I've been wearing jeans in probably 6 months, okay? Wearing jeans. That's where we're at here, okay? As far as like news or updates or anything, there's no real we're going to get to some things, but I did want to give you guys a channel update. Each year that we've had like Christmas giveaways and so forth. Unfortunately, this year, due to financial considerations, I'm unable to have a giveaway this year. I did want to let you guys know that. I do apologize for that. Hopefully, things pick up. Maybe first or second quarter next year, we can do a giveaway. But again, I want to apologize. Usually we have some kind of Christmas giveaway, but unfortunately this year, we can't do it due to financial considerations. So just wanted to get that out there so everybody knew that as well. Coming up also too, the last 2 episodes, it was really well received when I did the rebroadcast of our 10,000 subscriber anniversary special, having everybody we had here. Well, there's 2 other great episodes, and the last two Tuesdays of the month. Okay, let's see. Next week going to be what? The 15th. It would be the 22nd and the 29th. Those are going to be rebroadcasts. Okay, one of those is going to be one we had Kelly Shores on. It was earlier this year. But it's always a great evening when we have Kelly on. Kelly is just absolutely fantastic. So look forward to that. And then the other one is going to be the rebroadcast with Brendan Schulman from DJI. And look forward to that one too. That should be coming. Like I said, I'm going to have them set to premieres so you guys can be able to interact in the chat and be able to do some things. I'm going to take a little break here, guys. Just to let you know. A lot of effort goes into these shows each week, okay? It does take a lot to put these together, to coordinate. I'm my own producer, director, you name it, videographer, the whole 9 yards. So there is a lot of work that goes into it. Plus, I've got a full-time job as well. So I'm going to take a break the last 2 weeks, but I'm still going to be getting videos out. And another thing is I've been slow at getting some videos out. And a couple of reasons have fed into that. One of the reasons is right after we had our Thanksgiving meal, I think I explained that last week, and I had some MSG and some awful side effects from that, and that laid me up for a good 10 days. I mean, I was not myself for about 10 days, and we've had weather that's really seriously not been cooperative. So unfortunately, that's kind of led to me not being able to get them out. Okay, so that's it as far as drones and channel news. But I said the last 2, that would be the 22nd and the 29th. Those are going to be rebroadcasts, and it'll clearly indicate it at the bottom of the screen so people don't panic. No, I'm doing good, Ray. I'm doing good right now. Another thing, this crazy world. I talked to my daughter. She thought she may have gotten COVID-19, but she said she didn't. But she's better now. So I'm just real thankful for that. And, that's another thing for us. We have not been able to get up to Ohio to see my kids and my granddaughter. And that's just extremely frustrating. Extremely frustrating. All right, we're going to move on here. First thing I want to talk about is got some news regarding DJI FPV update. Now, we're talking like, oh yeah, DJI is going to do this. It's the end of the month. We're going to do this before Christmas, and DJI is going to have it out, and DJI is going to have it out, and here we are. It's December the 8th, and DJI doesn't have it out yet. But kind of got the next best thing. Excuse me. Got some information on it, and our good friend Hey Kesselou got his information from one of our good friends as well, Lauren Dunnar, LD, in the article. And I'm going to go ahead and share this right now. Let's get this up here. Okay. Now, DJI FPV drone also confirmed in FCC filings. All right. As you can see, this unit that they have, the picture that they have, this thing's been beat up to heck and back. And take a look here, and you can see it's been through the ringer. But right here, this is the important thing. It also tells you the label shows the model name FD1 W4K, as well as the battery information at 22.2 volts, 2,000 milliamp hours, and 44.4 watts. For comparison, the Mavic 2 Pro battery is 15.4 volts, 3850 milliamp hours, and 59.29 watt hours. And it says inside the battery compartment, here's the label itself. And yeah, but the interesting thing was apparently now they asked for short-term confidentiality with a release date of 6/6 to apply to with a release of 6/6/21. Well, no, the FCC filing. Now, see, the other thing I talked about was DJI FPV for short term. Now, that usually doesn't mean a whole lot. Hayes right in the article. It really kind of indicates when that information can be made available to everybody out there. And there's a lot of information that has to be provided to the FCC, and some of that information is proprietary, and you can't see that. They block that on purpose. So that's involved. So does it mean we're going to see it anytime soon? Yeah. I don't know. Your guess is, guys. Your guess is as good as mine on this. Okay, seriously. I wish I could say. I don't know. There's Lauren. Ray Lauren doesn't know anything. Okay. No, but I'm sure he may, but but as of right now, there's no information. I mean, this is some information. At least we have something out there, so it's better than nothing as far as that's concerned. So, you just kind of have to, I know Hay will be on top of it, and if there's anything else, his ears to the ground. We'll find out. But time's ticking for 2020, and we're probably, my guess, if I were to guess, it's not coming in 2020. Okay, we're not going to see it until 2021. That's just my guess for now. So, end of January, 1st of February, tax time. That would be nice, Bill. That would be nice. DeMarco's here. Good seeing you, DeMarco. Patrick Sutton. Jaybird's here. Welcome, Jaybird. Glad to see you. Let's see who else is here. Okay. All right. And Lauren, welcome. I'm glad you stopped by tonight. So yeah, that's where we're at as far as that's concerned. Will I be getting one? It looks like a really cool little drone, but I got a problem with spatial awareness and having those goggles on. I'm the kind of person, I would get disoriented, and I have a tendency to get nauseated from stuff like that. So that's why I would probably pass on something like that. I'm not to say that I wouldn't try it, but for me, yeah. And it's a completely different skill set. I know I've talked to Ken Dono a little bit about him learning when he learned it. And he said it really does take a different skill set to fly it. So, but yeah, it's something that's on the horizon. So, one of the other things I wanted to go ahead before, Ron's going to join me here in a little bit, but I want to kind of do a 2020 recap of drones that I own, but these seem to kind of hit the sweet spot of drones for the year. The first one I wanted to talk about was the Mavic Air 2. Now, it they really that's the fun, Sam. Like riding a roller coaster. Sam, you're hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. The Mavic Air 2, when it came out, was and it still is phenomenal. Okay, for what you get with the Mavic Air 2 compared to the original Mavic Air, it's like night and day. Okay, you get OcuSync 2.0. It works with a smart controller. That 4K is on there. It's a digital zoom, but at least it does have the zoom. Okay, capability on there, and the battery life is great on it. There's very little. I have very little complaint about it. I mean, under $1,000 for sure, by far. 2020, but it blows every other drone away under $1,000. Okay, I will definitely say that. All right, and I think most if not all of you would agree with me on a statement like that. Okay, that's where it's at for me. Mavic Air 2, yeah, just the only thing that I found with the Mavic Air 2, I've tried to take it up and get some sunsets with it, and I gotta adjust, some of the parameters like white balance and auto, turn some of those settings on to manual, whenever I do something like that, because usually if I'm going out to get a sunset, I don't have time to go in and mess around with the settings. So it's, I want to grab my drone and go and get it up there and get it and capture a good sunset. And it's usually on the spur of the moment. So I don't have time to get up there and mess around with white balance and, auto correct this and everything, and just, get up there and basically point and shoot is usually what I have enough time for, because by the time I see it, that's where we're at with that. The low light capabilities aren't as good, obviously, as I'm spoiled with the Mavic 2 Pro. Okay, really, and I think those of you that have that too are too. So I think you guys would agree with me on something like that. So, but yeah, the Mavic Air 2, that's, to me, by far and away, it was the drone of the year. Okay, now I know we're going to get to the Mini 2 here. I'm just giving you kind of like my synopsis of some things. Now, the Fimi X8 SE 2020. All right. Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities begins. It was the worst of time. It was the best of times, and it was the worst of times. Okay, that's what I think of when I think of the Fimi X8 SE 2020. Okay, and it's unusual. Thank you. And that's this drone is so interesting. Is the word I'll use for it. Okay, it seems like it's almost different drones for different people. Like they make a different drone. Okay, so many have that horizon tilt issue. Okay, and they do everything they can, run the firmware updates, do the leveling that I showed people how to do, and it's there. Okay. And it usually happens when if you initiate a return to home and it's flipping around and, the horizon gets out of whack. Okay. I've had good luck with that ever since one of the firmware updates. I haven't really had that issue. Okay. My issue has been the loss of signal. All right. This is my second drone with them. All right. With Fimi. And Fimi was great. I mean, they sent me another drone. And I'm looking out on the forum. And, for me, it's just, I see the same thing. I see a lot of people either having that horizon tilt issue or having the loss of signal issue. Now, I feel bad for some because some have written to Fimi and they've not got, they've not gotten a real good answer back from them, and they haven't helped them out, and I really feel for you in instances like that. As I always said, kindness kind of takes them by surprise, supposedly, and will help. So I mean, try again and try being kind. I mean, that's the only thing I can say. But it's a shame because that has a potential to be an excellent drone. For the value, for the dollar, it's a great drone. Is it something I would recommend? I would kind of put it towards the bottom of my list for the year. Only reason being is those, either the horizon tilt issue or the loss of signal issue. All right. Now, the Xeno 2. Look at Ron from the get-go. Hovered perfectly, took off, did its thing. Had the issue with his lens flare, which is a hardware issue. Okay, they need to replace that lens. But functionally, it performed very well. Yeah. Oh, and Ray, thanks for bringing that up. If any of you guys email me if you want to buy one of these shirts or one of my T-shirts that you see in when I wear them in my other videos, let me know and I can get them to you. I can get you white mugs. Okay, they don't have any more of the black mugs, but I can order white mugs. So if you're interested, email me at buildadronereviewer@gmail.com and let me know. And what I do is I get them drop shipped from the manufacturer directly to you. It saves, it saves a whole lot. I'm not making a killing on them, but I really like the merchandise, and I really think the vendor that I have does a great job with it. So side note, if you're looking for something to get somebody for Christmas, okay, the T-shirts are great. I've had mine for a long time. Run through the washer. I don't run my T-shirts and I don't run these through the dryer at all, and they come out fantastic. These are all cotton too, by the way. So just a just a promo for that. So if you're looking for something for Christmas, I have mugs, I have T-shirts, I have this. I also have the hat too. I don't wear hats. That's just me. I don't wear hats. I'm not a hat person. But if you're interested in that, I can do that as well. I'll put together a short clip, and if you guys are interested, do that. I'm not sure they can get there in time for Christmas or not, but let me know. Okay. So email me at buildadronereviewer@gmail.com. Anyway, digressed here. Okay. Now we're on the Xeno 2. All right. And then Marcus, okay, he had the polar opposite experience from Ron. His Xeno 2 was toilet bowling all over the place and just, but he said it's gotten better with firmware updates. But again, the whole thing, that hardware issue with the lens flare, that's just something you can't ignore. I mean, you're always going to be taking pictures in or near the sun. So that's going to cause an issue. Yeah, Lauren, I don't buy merchandise, too poor. I have to eat cat food. Guys, maybe we need to get your address so we can send you some food. All right. Okay. Moving on here. Okay. Now granted, okay. Now, of course, Hubson's coming out with, and we talked about a little bit about this last week when Marcus was on, the different iterations of the Xeno Pro, the Xeno Pro Plus, the Xeno 2 Pro Plus. Now, they're just, and it's just in their pricing. And I think they've priced themselves out a competition right now. They really need to take a step back and take a look at some things, retool and reorganize, I think. And the Fimi needs to do the same thing. Now the Mavic 2 for $400, I'll say 400. I'm probably more like close to 5. All right. For that kind of a price, there's no better drone. Okay. No questions asked. This guy right here, all right, Mavic 2, there's absolutely no questions why you should not get this drone. None whatsoever. All right. The video from this is every bit as good as a Mavic Air 2 and the Mavic 2 Pro. Don't even think twice. Definitely, that's a drone to get. I would not even hesitate. Okay. I haven't done a wind test yet. It's been too windy. Here's an irony of irony. ABQ quadcopter, welcome. The irony of ironies. It's been too windy for me to do a wind test. Okay. There's a joke in there somewhere. All right. I know there is, but I wanted to. I had to say it like that. It's been too windy to do a wind test. Wow. Wow. But that's kind of where we're at as far as, as far as the drones from this year, from 2020. There's been other ones. The Evo 2's come out. And I know Ron's had it and, really would like to kind of pick his brain and see how things have been for him. But one thing that he does mention, which a lot of other people have, is, it's not, people expect it to fly like a DJI drone. It does not, okay? It weighs a lot, okay? Henceforth, it has a much bigger battery. It needs that power. But as Ron said, on a very windy day, that thing is rock solid up in the air. It's not going anywhere because of the weight. And that is a good thing up there. One of the other things with the Evo 2, but either the 8K or the 6K or the Pro version, you have that issue of downloading that because, a lot of computers can't handle that resolution. And the price did come down around Thanksgiving if you were able to get it. And if Autel still has them in stock, I mean, that's a tremendous deal. I place it here. I would have loved to have done that. I absolutely would have loved to have done it. But, there's a little thing called work and no vacation left this year kind of a thing. That's where I'm at. So, but yeah, that's kind of like where I think we were in 2020 as far as drones were concerned. There were some other things that DJI released as well. Those were the main points and the main drones that I saw of interest. A lot of people are still waiting for their Skydio 2s. They haven't gotten them from last year. COVID-19 has, unfortunately, put a wrench in a lot of things, and that's one of them. I really feel for Skydio. The thing I like about Skydio the best is they're a United States company. They're making them here in the United States. There's a lot to be said about that. And I really do wish them all the best success in the world. Their updated, their new Skydio apparently is going to be for like first responders, military type of use only. It won't be for the general public. I'm hoping that when they come out with another Skydio version, we might see some improvements. But we're going to talk about 2021 here in just a second here. Yeah, that's a good question, Bill Thomas. What kind of transmission system in the new DJI FPV bird? That's a real good question. I'm hearing it has a lot of range. I mean, that's one of the things that I did hear about that. So that will be very interesting to find out what kind of range that actually has here. So, but yeah, okay. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get started here with these 2021s here. And the first one that I wanted to talk about, and we did talk, now I did talk about this before on the show, was the Dreon. Okay, there we are. Good spelling there, Bill. Metro drones, Bill, thanks so much. Appreciate that. Do we even know if 2021 is even a real thing at this point? ABQ quadcopter, I think what happens is, I think we do 2020 over again. I think we're going to be going through Groundhog Day. So that's just my opinion. I mean, because this whole year, it seemed like Groundhog Day, the entire year. Yeah, really. Okay. All right. Let's get this up here. All right. Now, we don't know a whole lot about this. What we do know, I mean, they put out a teaser about it. What they do know, you do know about the Air Peak. I mean, the Air Peak just, and I can't play this teaser because obviously even a teaser, and they'll ding me for it. But it's just a prop with a background going slow, kind of a thing. They talked about Sony has assigned the AirPeak brand to reflect its aspiration to contribute to the further evolvement and creation of unprecedented value through its imaging and sensing technology, as well as 3R technologies: reality, real time, and remote in the drone area. Sony's announcement. Okay. Like I said, there's really not a lot about this, and we did cover it in one of the other previous episodes. One of the things that I can say is, what I did hear was something like April, May, June next year for something like this. So we'll see. There were some diagrams and some FCC filings, but it was for an earlier project, I think. I'm not sure. But we had talked about it in a previous Rotor Talk. And if I find that episode, I'll make sure I drop a link down there in the description for you guys to check that out. But, it's going to be real interesting. Obviously, the camera is going to be a kicker camera. That's for sure. As far as everything else is concerned, I mean, that's the sky's the limit with that. I expect it to be expensive. What Sony product hasn't ever been expensive? Okay, ask me how much my TVs have cost me, my 60-inch and my 70-inch TVs. Okay, yeah, okay. Sony is not cheap, but you get what you pay for. You get very good quality for it. So that's one of the things that I can say about Sony is their quality is absolutely, positively exceptional with that. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. When it's going to hit, like I said, April, May timeframe. My guess, you're probably looking at $2,000 for something like this, and I'm just throwing this off the top of my head, knowing that they, how they price things with Sony, they're usually pretty expensive. So I'm just kind of calling it like it is as far as that's concerned. That's where we're at. But yeah, it's the Sony AirPeak. Now, one of the other ones that I wanted to talk about here for a few minutes, and I've actually talked to the people from X Dynamics, is the Evolve 2. Okay, now their website, okay, their website still shows pre-order. Okay, $3,700. All right, and to pre-order it takes a $50 deposit. All right, that's still, and they're still taking pre-orders. Everything's active. Okay, all these links still work. All the pictures are still out here. It's an incredible drone. I mean, for what you have on here, for the camera, that's and it's the lenses are interchangeable. Okay, you can take a look and see how easy that is to do that. You have different lens options for them too, a wide dynamic range, and it is a smaller form factor than the original X Dynamics Evolve 1. And it has LiDAR in there. Now, I did talk to Ken Dono a little bit, and he talked about the controller on here. He said these controllers are unbelievable, and Rick Smith said the same thing. They're all in one. You don't need another thing with this. He said that definitely was a huge plus for the X Dynamics Evolve, and now for the Evolve 2. Now, the Evolve 1 had its series of issues, okay? Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that, I know Ken Herron had issues with it. I know Billy had issues with it. I know Ken Dono. Ken was saying his controller was a bum controller, so they shipped him out a new one. And lo and behold, that one works. So, I mean, they had a lot of, I hate to use the word, I'll use the word glitch, okay? They had a lot of glitches first go around, all right? but this seems to have, you know, there is a market for this, guys, and I do see this. I do see this actually, you know, being a viable option for. Let me preface this, okay? I see it being a viable option for those who can afford it. All right, you know, $3,800 is a lot of a lot of coin to put out for this, guys. A lot of coin. So yeah, that's where, yeah, that's where I'm at. David Martin Graff, welcome. Drone Nation is in the house. Welcome. Which it could be Ron or Marcus. I'm not sure, but I'll just say welcome. Well, you know, that's it for the X Dynamics. Now, the other one here, and this is actually a pretty good article, and I say that a little bit with a smirk on my face. Oh, there's Ron. We're going to get Ron in here. Mr. Ron Brown, how are you this evening?
Bill, I'm well. I was just ordering my X Dynamics drone while you were speaking there. It should be here by the end of the week.
Wow, you've been Santa's being good to you this Christmas. That for that kind of price.
Santa's the only one that's got him in stock.
You must have definitely been on his nice list.
Well, you know, see what I got on a good list because I got my John Lennon commemorative pin on tonight.
Ah,
and my shirt. It was 40 years ago today. Was a fateful day where is it Mark David Chapman?
Mark David Chapman. Yep.
You know, shot John on the streets of New York. We lost a great man that day. I was only 20 years old. I was in college, but I was a big Monday Night Football fan, so I kind of knew it the night before because I stayed up to the fourth quarter of the game.
Yep.
I had to break the bad news to everybody the next morning who went to bed early.
I was same with me, Ron. I was up watching Monday Night Football, and I heard Howard Cosell say it, and I was just like, boom. It's like you remember. Those are some of the moments. Like I remember the moment when I found out Elvis died. Okay, and It was the same thing here when John Lennon died. I remember that moment as well, and it was just like one of these. Boom, it just went right here.
Right, right. And the Elvis one, it was summertime, and I was still in high school, so like I didn't have anybody to share it with because like nobody was really around. But like the John Lennon one happened, I was older, I was in college. There was all sort of people to commiserate with, so it was kind of more of a remember because Elvis said it was the middle of the summer, like I was in school, I don't know what I was doing, but like I really wasn't around my friends or whatever, so it was kind of a different experience. Sorry, folks, hate to disrail the show with the with John Lennon talk here, but let's get back on track here. Bill, you were moving on from the Evolve to
I'm going to move on. And what was real interesting was, Sally French, don't you? Okay.
Oh, Drone Girl.
Yeah. Okay. Now
one of the two Drone Girls, the Drone Girl not from Ireland.
Right. Now, Sally put out, and this was great. And now, she's not one to talk about, and she's also told me this, she's not into like speculation and talking about future products and stuff, but she's dedicated a whole page to the Mavic 3. I'm going to go ahead and it really kind of surprised me. I mean, when
she muscling in on our speculation shows.
Yeah. I mean, now, she's talking about possible. Now, she did this back in October. Release date, specs, rumors, everything we know, and an improved Hasselblad camera, flight, just culled together a lot of things and put together this article here, which was real interesting. I mean, I'm Sally's fan. Sally's probably the number one ambassador for drones in this country. I don't think anybody does a better job at that than her. But we know now why there's been why the delay is a lot. That's all tied in with remote ID and it's a holding pattern for something like this, which kind of makes sense. Okay, and I think and this is my opinion, and I think you probably agree with me on this, Ron, is that this kind of ended up, paving the way, them pushing this back, paved the way for the Mini 2 to make its appearance. Because they would not have put, there's no way they would have released two drones that close together.
Right. Even though they're really for different customers in a way, unless drone acts like us have to have them both. But for most people, you're either like a kind of a pro level flyer, photographer, videography that needs the Mavic 3, or you're a hobbyist that needs the Mini 2. So they're clearly different categories. But again, I know how us drone nerds like to collect them all, regardless of whether we need them or not. But this is again. Definitely, good information, and I think it's wise to DJI to take a step back and just kind of like not do any commitments until we finally get the new FAA rules and regulations clearly, actually released and it clearly defined, so that maybe if DJI has to make some hardware adjustments to meet some of these rules and regulations, they have that built-in time to to get it done. So from a business standpoint, I see it's wise, and plus they're dominating the market anyways with their Mini 2s and their Air 2s and whatever. So it's it's not like they're seeding the market by delaying the Mavic 3. What do you think, Bill?
Oh yeah, I agree 100%, Ron, because that's and people were kind of thinking that the Mini 2 was going to encroach upon the Mavic Air 2. Okay, the Mavic Air 2, what I think it was May it came out, May or June. So,
I would say the end of April. We us early adopters, we had it in April.
Yeah, we had it in April. So I mean, people were even thinking, the Mini 2 was encroaching on that, and it came out, in the spring. And here we are. It's late fall. So that even that kind of a gap, people thought it was, it's going to affect the Mavic Air 2 sales. But you brought up a good point, Ron. Is these drones are for a whole different category of people. Okay, when the Mavic 3 comes out, it's going to be, I'll call them an upgraded hobbyist to an almost professional is going to be looking at a Mavic 3. Of course, I know you, myself, Marcus, and a lot of our peers are going to dive into that, because
and we're expecting a bit of a price bump for that level of performance also, aren't we?
Oh yeah. I'm thinking, we're gonna probably, we might hit the 2K range easily with this, because if they're talking about that kind of upgraded camera that they keep, everybody's been touting on this, if they talk about an extended runtime with this, more a real 360 obstacle avoidance with this, it doesn't come. These benefits don't come cheap. Okay, you pay for what you get. It's like I was talking about the Sony AirPeak and it coming next year, and Ron, Sony products, and I have two Sony televisions. Okay, those set me back a lot of coin. Okay, some of these products are not cheap, but you get what you pay for. You do get the quality when especially like with Sony. That's why I buy like Sony televisions. I usually look at a Sony TV before I look at other ones.
I remember most of the drones that we fly and talk about have Sony sensors that for cameras, so they already make the world's probably best small sensors. They make a lot of sensors for big camera makers. Even like you'll see like a Canon or Nikon. Sony may be making the sensors for them for certain models. So they're dominant in many ways. And of course, if they enter a field like drones, they're like kind of like Apple entering a market. They'll enter at the very top because they have unlimited funds for research, development, testing, marketing, or whatever. They will not come in at the bottom end, Bill.
Oh no. I was going to ask you, and this is a good question, and I was going to ask Marcus too if he was available. But as far as drones, say like, and I'll call them the entry, for lack of a better term, entry level hobbyist drones, and I'll like the Xeno 2s, the Fimi X8 SE 2020s, and drones in that kind of similar genre. Do you see anything like that coming out in 2021?
Well, I'm going to answer your question. Let me throw this in real fast in case we didn't cover it last week. Bill, sure. Did you see, we talked about this in a couple shows. I don't know if you and I talked about it, that DJI is going to offer a Mavic Air 2 smart controller package that'll be, out.
Oh yeah.
Somebody in one of the chats that group provided that told us about it, and then Bill Thomas provided a link to it. It's real. I think it was like in the $1,300 ballpark with a smart controller, maybe $1,399. But that's interesting. They're coming up with an Air 2 and smart controller package like they did with the Mavic 2 Pro, which I took advantage over with your recommendation. But to answer your question, I see I see a lot of companies like your entry level drone, people that are trying to get into the top of the game, like your Fimis, your Hups, and so on. I see them going back to the drawing. I wouldn't expect anything out of right now because I'm sure they've all figured out that the Mavic, the Mini 2 is just has made them a tough sell anymore because it's at kind of the same price point, and the performance is much better in many ways, most ways. And I think you're going to see those companies really go back to the drawing board, like the Hubsan 3 and the Fimi X8 2021. I mean, they better not be just minor upgrades. They better be like major overhauls, Bill, or they're just going to get. They do one of two things. They either have to step up their spec game to compete with the Mini 2s in the world, or they're going to have to lower their price, and they're so far under that they seem like a reasonable buy.
Oh, Bill? I agree. I agree 100%, Ron. And remember, we were talking about it last week, with Marcus and how he was saying, especially like the Xeno, okay? And then you have the Xeno Pro. Now you have the Xeno Pro Plus. Then you have the Xeno 2. Now you have the Xeno 2.
A very confusing product line.
And just, and they're just adding just a little bit onto it, charging another $100 more, and it's just like, people like us can see through what their game and see what they're doing with things like that, which is ludicrous because they're really kind of just shooting themselves in the foot. And you hit the nail on the head, Ron. They got to go back, both Fimi and Hubsan, they need to go back to the drawing board and say, look, okay, here's what we need to do. And then, have a game plan and then execute it. Because obviously, for example, I talked a little bit about the Hubsan 2 before you came. And, you and Marcus had different experiences with yours, okay? And I know, for me, I know I have had a lot of different experiences from people in the group. I mean, that I have my Fimi group. And it's either you have, you're having a problem with the tracking, you're having a problem with horizon tilt, or you're having a problem with loss of signal on the Fimi. And it's a mix, it's a hodgepodge. And I would say this, if Xeno had done its homework, okay, and if they had stopped production and say, you know what, look, we got a lens flare issue, we need to get that quality control under wraps and get it taken care of before we let any more of these off the product assembly line. But no, they just kept kept pushing them out. And Ron, and that makes people like who would want to consider it, why consider it? I can get a better drone, a much better drone in a Mini 2 for less money. I mean, for what they're charging for like a Xeno 2 Plus or Pro, whatever. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, again, the Mini 2 makes those drones almost unnecessary. I'm going to say 90% of the case. And Bill, I don't know if you saw this, but Eric Rose, who's from Bahamas, posted this in Drone Nation today. Xiaomi's coming out with a new drone called the Diva, and they already on YouTube. There's a review of it by a Spanish drone reviewer, and you can only tell so much by watching the video because you don't know how much he cut out or hid, but it looks like the camera's a bit better than the Fimi and the Hubsans.
That's cool.
And Xiaomi is I think they're like kind of remember they first started selling the Fimi X8, it used to be tied in with them. I'm confused with the branding, but I know they when the Fimi first came out, it was kind of sold as under the Xiaomi circle. Xiaomi, they make a bunch of cell phones. They're like they're the Sony of China. They make everything. Giant company. You know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They have a lot of umbrella products. I mean, they
Yeah.
also make phones too. So
Yeah, they make everything, tablets, laptops. But anyhow, yeah, I see, and now, I don't talk about it yet, but I had a conversation with a friend of ours today, Mikey over at Philly Drone, and we were talking. We said when DJI does get this FPV drone out the door, how long before somebody copies it? How long before we see the first Chinese knockoff? That looks like the new DJI FPV drone.
yeah, that'll be in the works, and you can count on that. It'll be at a cheap price. It'll have half the range, half the battery life,
and a third of the camera quality.
And a third of the camera quality. What was it? I saw a drone the other day, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. I don't. It was a Xeno knockoff, and I don't know who did it. Okay, and it was orange. Okay. Oh yeah, I got an email from Banggood, from my contact at Banggood.
Okay.
You want to try this drone? And then I looked up the reviews on Amazon. I'm like 10 feet away. No, thank you. Bye. Okay. Well,
Yeah, I know. Just take a break there for the people out there. If you've ever reviewed a drone that doesn't work correctly or whatever, it is no fun at all. When you get a drone and it doesn't work, you just wish you would have never said yes, because that's the hardest review in the world to do, isn't it, Bill?
Oh yeah. Well, it goes. Here's the thing. Okay, they say 6K. Okay.
Oh, 6K.
Listen to this. Okay, that's not video. Okay, that's on still pictures, and I'm going like, you got to be kidding me. I'm just like laughing. You got to be kidding me, guys.
Yeah. On video, it's 720p or something.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It's okay.
They think, and this gets me every time, Ron. When I go out there and I look at things and I see what's available, because I'll browse and I'll go out there and see what's in the market for under $200. And like Marcus, I feel sorry for Marcus, because he'll pick one that looks good and is a piece of junk. But I'll go out there and I'll see some of this stuff, and then the claims that they make to try to get you to even look at it are off the charts. Do they think that we don't even know what's going on with stuff like this? I mean, it's like how people talk about the fake press. Oh, well, these are this advertising really is kind of slim shady there. I mean, it's like, okay, 6K. Oh, okay, wow, let's take a look. $150? No way. I'm like, that's the first thing I saw. When I saw that, I said, no way, no way.
Yeah. Just like any advertising that tries to say, well, this drone's as good as a DJI. It only costs, $199. Well, right, you know that's not possible.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Remember, they used to always release these drones when the Mavic came out and so successful. You'd always see these drones. They were Mavic killers, but they may only cost $100, but they were a Mavic killer. They look just like a Mavic, though.
Oh yeah. They look just like a Mavic. Folded up like a Mavic, had a lens cover like the Mavic. They could,
and it couldn't fly from one end of a yard to the other.
Well, they would do the toilet bowling every time you would get them up. They would never ever hover. Just
and that's if you're looking at the GPS model.
Yeah. Just it was insane. Well, one of the other things that I kind of wanted to go over, Jay Bird, thank you. One of the other things I wanted to ask you too, I don't know what to expect from Autel this year, okay? Because they had those 3 drones that they had out this year were huge. It was big for them. I mean, that was a really big deal. And, they're along the lines of Skydio, because they can't handle making more than one model at a time, okay? Just because the way their production facilities are, their cost, their labor cost, everything involved, they just can't do anything like that. Do I see some tweaking with Autel doing some things? Sure. They might put out some different camera modules, because remember, all 3 of those models with the Evo, and Ron knows this, the Evo 2, that the only thing that's different between those 3 models is the camera, okay? The body, the chassis, the motor, the battery, everything's 100% the same.
And the camera is usable swappable. And I don't mean like you have to be a technician, user swappable for a layman.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's nice to be able to do something like that. So, that we might see from Evo.
I don't know the name of this, but have you seen this Alltel just recently? I think it's on their website. They have a new, I'm going to call it drone kind of, but it looks like an airplane. And anyhow,
I've seen that.
That's not good. But anyhow, I think maybe they put a patent in for like a smart controller for that new thing. And a lot of people speculate, well, will they be able to, mod the smart controller to work with the current Evo 2 line of drones, or maybe even Evo 1? A Hot Rod Daytona, I don't know if Hot Rod's in here. He sent me the link via email the other day of smart controller that's been made for this, this new drone. It looks like an airplane that they have on their website. I don't have the link here, unfortunately, but just go over to the Alltel and you'll see it. And also, Bill, they also, a lot of chatter going around, not official chatter, about maybe Evo Mini.
Now that's very interesting.
I mean, they got to look at DJI's success with the smaller drones and think, well, wait a minute, why don't we try to cash in on the, kind of the fat middle of the market rather than just make the, a drone at the very high end. And speaking of that, Bill, I put it on, I think I shared a Bill the Drone Reviewer as many other groups. BuyDig, which is some kind of a discount house, they have both Alltel Evo 2 drones on sale for quite a bit off, a couple $100 off each model. I think they have the Evo, the 8K model in the 1300s with a sale, and it was a coupon. If anybody's watching, go to Bill the Drone Reviewer, and I put the link in there.
Yeah, go out to the Facebook page. Take a look on Facebook. Yeah. That's interesting. That's real interesting.
Would you be interested if like an Evo Mini came out and maybe I don't know, maybe I can't imagine how, but maybe it had something that the Air 2 didn't offer.
That's a good. There's kind of a, there, even though the under $1,000 drones, there's you have a gap from like the $1,000 price point till you get to the Mavic Air 2, and then you have a gap from the Mavic Air 2 till you get down to the Mini. Okay, as far as like a reliable drone that you can put up, get solid video from, don't not have the problems that you have like with a Fimi or a Xeno kind of a thing. There's a gap there, and
and the gaps not spaced the same. And I think why the Air 2 is winning the Drone of the Year contest over at Drone Nation, because this is my opinion, the Air 2 is substantially better than the Mini 2, but it's not that far below the 2 Pro in many cases.
Oh yeah. And they do something like that, Ron. That's going to pique a lot of interest, and I think maybe
they already have the quad bear sensor that the Air 2 has in the Evo 8K. And I don't say they need 8K in a Evo 2 Mini, but what they could do is maybe they could throw that 360 obstacle avoidance sensor that the Mini 2, the Air 2 doesn't have, and that would give it a leg up right there. Because we all well know that Air 2 is a great drone, but it doesn't have any side obstacle avoidance sensors. Well, so that's a way that the Alltel Mini could maybe one up them.
Well, I think if they do come out with a Mini, I think the other thing too is the big thing is, even though the Mini 2 is better in the wind, okay, and being able to take some moderate wind, still, you get up to 25, 30 mile an hour winds, you can't fly it. When you can fly the Mavic 2 or the Phantom 4 kind of a thing. And maybe the Alltel Mini would be able to handle something like that because, they're beefier. I mean, Alltel drones are beefier. They have weight. They're really solid. That. So, so there's some good things coming. And, it's like I tell everybody, be patient here. And it's just, patience was that hard thing, when you were 10 years old and you wanted stuff for Christmas and, your parents would tell you be patient. Christmas is a couple weeks away. It's just like, even 2 weeks is too far,
Yeah. I mean, so many good drones have come out, this year that, 2021, what could they really come out with? I know it's outside the Mavic 3, which of course will have, some kind of big camera advances. But what else can really come out that really somebody like you and I would say, oh, well, we need to get this because it fills a hole in our drone lineup. You know what I'm?
Yeah, that's a real good point, Ron, because there's nothing there. I mean, you know what? I have my Phantom 4s back there. I got my Mavic 2, got my Mavic Air 2, got my Mini 2. I mean, and I got the Fimi.
You already got compact travel drones. You've got bigger size drones for local shoots or whatever. I mean, you've kind of got all the cover there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they could come out with, because I don't think most people in the community don't really care about 8K and 6K or whatever. So the Ks are not really a point that's going to grab us or whatever.
I
don't know really where that niche is to get in there. Again, outside the Mavic 3, people are going to buy a Mavic 3 just because it's a Mavic 3 or whatever. But again, I'm sure they're going to come up with some advancements in camera quality that put them, ahead of the game. And yeah, they can play catch up with Scudio and Evo 2 in some senses where they got more optical avoidance sensors in, like a 360 type of optical avoidance sensor. So they can play catch up with the people that maybe have a little leg up on them here and there. But I mean, I just don't see anybody coming out and making a big outside of Mavic 3, do you see anybody coming to the market make an impact? Now I know that Evolve is going to be a great drone for commercial flyers or real advanced hobbies, but that's going to do nothing to the middle of the market or whatever.
Right, that's not for the
drone market.
Yeah, for the hobbyist, there's not, and same with that, if X Dynamics comes out with their Evolve 2, it's the same thing. That's not really going to hit hobbyists a lot because that's a $3,800 is a pretty beefy price tag, and not a lot of people are going to have that kind of coin to be able to buy that kind of.
Right. How many of our viewers here, want a drone where they have to interchange the lens, have to bring it down and put the wide angle on or put the zoom on or whatever? I mean, I don't think that's what most of our viewers really want to mess with these interchange. Yeah. That's more of a kind of a professional rig to me, even though it's kind of made it to be a prosumer type of thing. But I don't think that's for most of us.
Oh, I agree 100%. I mean,
even though it's great technology, don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah, it is. It's great for the right. I mean, it fills a niche, and I think for those that are looking for something that want to get that precise type of cinematography, I think it'll be a perfect drone for them. Obviously they're going to pay that kind of price, and I think they'll get some good quality in return. Is it going to be, who knows? It remains to be seen what's going to be like. I mean, that's just, but
right. If I was going full-time real estate photography and mapping and shooting business locations and whatever, and it would warrant me buying something like the Evolve, sure, that'd be something I would be thinking about. Hey, I want to shout out Lauren Donauer in the chat here. He did a great job today of covering all the patent filings for the DJI FPV drone today. I think in the morning they filed patents for the goggles and the controller, and later in the day they filed a patent for the drone itself. So good job with that, Lauren.
Yes, thank you, Lauren. That's great for that information. What will we do? Lauren's fantastic. Lauren, thank you so much for providing that information when you can and when you're allowed to. That's always a good thing. For me, Ron, this whole year, somebody was before you joined. We're talking about 2021, and everybody goes, well, it's going to be 2020 all over again. It's going to kind of like be Groundhog Day. We're going to wake up, we're going to go to bed New Year's Eve and then wake up, and then it's going to be 2020 again. And I'm just like, no. That's one of those things. I don't think any person on this earth wants to experience 2020.
Yeah, I think there's some light at the end of the tunnel for 2021.
Yes. I think we're there. We just got a few weeks left, and then we'll be in 2021.
And speaking of that 2021 and the FPV drone, that's what we're going to be talking about for the next 6 months. The DJI FPV drone.
And I'll say what I'll do is this. I'll never say never for something like that. I'll try it. If somebody has it, I'll definitely try it and see it, because I don't know about you, but for me, putting the goggles on, for me, I'm the kind of person, my visual and spatial awareness, I kind of need that all the time.
Yeah, and all of us that wear glasses always have, an issue with goggles. And I know the big, people are really into it, say, well, you get the diopters and put it in there and whatever. Yeah, but that, then you're really bumping the price up. But I'm like you, I'm wait and see approach. I mean, I'm anxious for it to come out. I want to see all the reviews. I want to see how the firmware updates, correct problems. I want to see long-term reviews. How's it doing after 2 or 3 months? And you're in Florida, so you better weather. I'm up here in the Northeast. The weather's already changed to winter here. I'm not going to be sitting out in a park bench for an hour, freezing, my tushy off, trying to learn how to fly this thing with the goggles on. So it's kind of a non-starter for me with the weather this time of year, anyways, Bill.
Well, it's a whole different skill set. I was talking to Ken Dono about it. When he first learned, he said, and I think Sam Burns can tell you too. It's you got to acquire. I mean, it's something you got to learn. And it takes a lot of patience to fly these.
Well, this is going to be kind of an FPV on baby steps, since it will have a stabilized mode where you won't have to fly acro until you want to fly acro. You may never ever turn the acro button on.
Yeah. I mean,
it just stabilizing your seat in the goggles. So it's and it probably won't be for the true FPV pilots. It probably. Maybe the acro won't be as good as they're looking for in the drones they build. So it'd be interesting to see who this drone turns out to be. People like you and me that have never considered FPV drones before, or because I don't know how it'll adopt early with the hardcore people who like to build their own drones, because I don't think it'll match up to some of the things they want to do. On Drone Nation last night, everybody in the panel, when John Coopy stopped in, was amazed when John Coopy told them, no, you can fly these drones slow, because they only see videos where people are whizzing as fast as possible. John said, no, you can fly these FPV drones as slow as you want to.
No, see, and I didn't know that. That's another thing. And
Lauren, they have one speed, ludicrous or whatever. But no, you fly along as slow as you want to.
That's it. And Lauren put in there, which is a good comment. The FPV will not be for everyone, but will surprise a lot of people. So it remains to be seen. And I'm willing to try it. I'm willing to try it.
We're guessing at what I think Cooper last night was guessing between a $1,300 and $1,500 price point to get the entire kit, where you get the goggles, the controller, and the drone. And that's a pretty big barrier to entry for something you just want to try that you're not sure about.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you this, if you get one, I don't think you'd have a problem selling it.
If you got one early, yeah.
If you got one early and you didn't like it and
you didn't crash it.
Yeah. You have any closing thoughts, Ron?
I don't, outside of, I just want to say thanks for having me. I want to thank everybody here for joining us in chat tonight. When I say the usual names, I say that in a loving, good way. I want to thank everybody for stopping in here. We only got a couple weeks before the big holiday here. If you're a member of the Christian here, but if we have some non-Christians, I hope you have a good holiday in whatever faith you may be. And, and don't forget, Philly and I are going to go live for an hour after this show wraps up. So if you still need something to do, jump on over there. You all know the channel, Philly Drone Life. So, I don't know what we're going to talk about tonight, but it'll probably be good. So, Bill, I'll throw it back to you and let you close us out tonight. And, and it was a good show.
Well, I want to thank you for joining me, Ron, for this. Appreciate that. Always appreciate your perspective on things. It's been a, Charles Dickens said it best, and Tale of Two Cities. It's been the best of times. It's been the worst of times. It seems like we've had, unfortunately, a lot of the worst of times this year. And you're thankful for health. Thankful, for all of you who are listening to us right now and watching us. You've been given another day on this earth. And, that's, my folks always told me, be thankful for that. You wake up, that's another gift you've been given. and use it wisely every day, and try to be a blessing and be kind to others. So, I'll just kind of like leave it there at that. The holidays are coming up, and as Ron said, whatever faith you are, being a Christian, it's Christmas is coming up. If you're Jewish, Hanukkah is coming up. And be respectful of people and their holidays, and we wish everyone. We send good tidings and greetings to everyone at this time of year. And, unfortunately, there's still a lot of crap going on, and try to dial that out. If you're able to enjoy time with your loved ones, where you're at, do that. It will always help. As always, if you can get out and fly, the weather's still okay to do that, do it. That's a great stress reliever. And, as always, as I always say, it really is a great day to fly. Hope you all have a great rest of your evening. Don't forget to catch Ron on Philly Drone Life following the show. Take care, everybody.